Hey guys, this is Alicia Avant, and this is the Everything You Need to Know About Hiring a Virtual Assistant webinar. I thank you for coming today, or if you are watching the replay, for doing that instead. And I'm excited about this webinar because it is going to be answering all those questions that you have maybe mulled over in your mind about hiring a VA, and you've never really just made this jump or the decision because you had so many unanswered questions or concerns. And I'm hoping that today's webinar will give you the answers to all those questions you've been thinking of, and maybe some of the reasons why that you have not made the leap to hiring a VA. Those things will be taken care of today through this informational webinar. So let's get right into it. The first thing is I wanted to tell you a little about myself and why I am qualified to share this information with you. So I am Alicia Avant, and I am a virtual assistant. I have been a VA for over 13 years, and my business is called Alicia Avant and Company, and I provide virtual assistant services to authors and speakers, mainly through social media marketing, content repurposing, and email marketing are my three areas of expertise. And in addition to this, I also have a course for people who want to become a virtual assistant. It is called simply the Become a Virtual Assistant course. I know it's super unordinary topic or idea there. Title there, but it is exactly what it says it is, and it's an 8-module course that you work by yourself. It's a DIY, do it yourself at your own pace sort of course available to you or to anyone who's interested. And then I'm also the founder of the Christian Business Advantage Virtual Assistant Directory and Matchmaking Service. This is probably my latest venture, my newest piece of my business, other than a podcast, is this directory. And this directory came out of the need to find someone else I could refer potential clients to, because I get a lot of referrals and needed to have VAs whom I knew I could trust and that would provide high quality customer service, high quality service as a VA, because my mission is to serve God and serve others well. And I wanted to be able to do that and still be able to help the people who come to me for virtual assistant services that I might not personally help myself. And then finally, I mentioned my latest venture is the Virtual Assistant Advantage podcast. It is on Apple, iTunes, on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all those, Spotify, all those apps that you can get your favorite iTunes or your favorite podcasting app, you can get it. And this particular podcast is for virtual assistants and the people, the business owners, ministry leaders, and bloggers who hire them. And the purpose of this particular podcast is tips, tricks, and thoughts about how we can work better together. Virtual assistants and Christian business owners, bloggers, and ministry leaders, how can we make that working relationship better? So that is what the podcast is all about. There are 24 episodes available for you to binge if you'd like, and I would love to have you as a listener. So that's a little bit about me. Now we're just going to hop into the meat of the webinar here. First of all, we're going to basically this whole webinar, the idea or what I plan to do in this webinar is to simply answer questions. What I did was I went and gathered all the frequently asked questions that I know people have about working with a virtual assistant and hiring a virtual assistant, and I have put together those into this webinar. And what I'm going to do is simply go through these questions and answer them for you. Then if you have any questions that are still lingering at the end, I will do a Q&A and you can answer or ask those lingering questions. I hope that sounds good to you. So the first question is, how much does it cost to work with a virtual assistant? I thought we would get the money issue out of the way first. because that is the biggest issue that people have, or concern that people have. And so let's tackle that one right out of the gate. The first reason, or the first answer that I have for you is there is not a one size fits all answer to this particular question, because every VA has a different set of experiences, a different set of they have more, some people have more experience, less experience, newbie VAs versus seasoned VAs, people that are really knowledgeable in their area of expertise and they specialize in that versus a general admin VA. So your rate is going to vary based on those things. Some VAs charge by the hour and others charge by the project. So again, that's going to vary the answer there about what they might charge you. And then rates are usually based upon their experience. Do they have a lot of experience, or are they brand new? But I can tell you, because I work with a lot of VAs and have a directory full of them, I know that probably the least amount you're going to be able to pay someone is about $20 an hour, and it goes up into the $65, $75 an hour range. But of course, that person has a lot more experience and probably specializes in something like web design or project management, for example. If they're an OBM, which is very similar, it's almost like a sister business to the VA, is an online business manager. So many times you'll find OBMs who will charge more because they're helping you to manage your whole business from the perspective of, they look at your whole business and help you to manage that. So that's a little bit different than a VA, but many times they get lumped into the same category, and you'll notice that they charge a higher rate. So on average, if you want to get kind of in the middle range, it's going to be $30 to $40 an hour. So I hope that answers that question. Question number 2, what types of tasks do VAs do? Lots of VAs specialize in a specific area of expertise. So you can have VAs that specialize in, you might have heard me say that I specialize in content repurposing, social media management, and email management or email marketing. And so those are the 3 areas of specific areas of expertise that I have. But on top of that, I also have chosen to niche down and work with a specific group of people, which is, or our target market, which for me is authors and speakers. And you will find that a lot of VAs will do that. They will either, one, specialize in their skill area. So they're skilled in web design, they're skilled in graphics, they're skilled in organizing, they're skilled in travel planning. They will have this skill area and they will be able to do those types of tasks, or some will be very generalized. So they can do general admin type work, communication, emails, filing, organizing your online or digital files, doing data entry, those sorts of things. And then VAs can honestly do a wide variety of tasks. For example, in my business this week, I have done everything from adding new products to a client's web store on their website, to creating graphics for a client for their social media, to troubleshooting their email marketing system and why people weren't getting the emails that they were supposed to receive. So even within my area of expertise, there are a lot of things that I can handle, and most VAs, in all honesty, are exactly the same way. What should you outsource and what should you not? So let's go into the what you should outsource first. You want to outsource tasks that you don't enjoy doing. You want to outsource tasks that you don't know how to do. So maybe you have an email marketing system and you don't really want to learn how to do it, but you need it to work. So you outsource that to a VA who is savvy in that area and can do that for you. And tasks that you don't have time to do. Honestly, I am right now looking for someone to help me with my own social media because I don't have time to get to it with all the other things that I do. So that's a good example. What you should not outsource is anything that is in your area of brilliance. So you may not realize, but you have an area of brilliance. If you're an author, your area of brilliance is creating those works of that book, those words. If you are a I have some functional medical doctors in my practice and in my business, and that is their area of expertise. So therefore, they can't outsource what they're really, really good at. You should never outsource, because you want to only outsource things that you either don't enjoy doing, you don't know how to do, or you don't have time to do them. But your area of brilliance, the place where you shine, you should never outsource that. What kind of access would you need to give them? What kind of access do you need to give your VA? How many things do you have to share with them? In other words, you're going to have to share usernames and passwords. And there are ways to share with little to no risk. I'm sorry about the typos there. And there is access to areas of your business that you need help with. So if you need help with social media, you're going to have to share social media with them. If you need help with your email, you're going to have to share your email with them. But here's where there are safe ways with no risk that you can do this. You can use a program such as LastPass to safely share usernames and passwords where they never see the password. It's encrypted. They never see the password. They can just merely log in and do what they need to do. You can also, on most platforms, such as Facebook or WordPress, or I believe even like PayPal, you can provide a admin or editor type login for that person that limits what they can see and what they can do on your account. So for example, on Facebook, I offer social media marketing on Facebook to my clients. So they add me as an admin on their Facebook page. They could add me just as an editor, so I wouldn't be able to make any major changes. I could just edit posts, create posts. The same is true for other platforms. There is WordPress, for example. You can add someone as an admin. You can add them as a contributor, where they can just go in and write blog posts. An editor, they can go in and edit blog posts, so on and so forth. So that way, you know who logged in and made what changes, because it's tracked by their username and password. So there is always a safe way to do this, but it has to be done in order for them to do what they need to do on your behalf. And the next thing, how do I handle payments and contracts? Well, most often, in most cases, the virtual assistant will have an agreement for you to sign. If they have a professional business that they have set up to run correctly, then they will have an agreement that you can sign electronically through a program, and it will give you everything you need to know and what you two are agreeing to, what she is agreeing to provide to you and what you are agreeing to do in response to that. So I am agreeing to do 30 social media posts per month for the amount of X amount of dollars a month, and we sign and agree upon that. But each VA will handle this a little bit differently. Every one of our contracts, or what I call a client agreement, will not look the same, and we will not all offer the same type of payment arrangement. For example, I offer the option to pay via credit card or via bank drafts. So you can put in your information and it'll draft the payment from your bank account. But not everybody offers the same thing. Some people use PayPal, some people use Stripe or credit cards, so on and so forth. Okay, I was talking about my How I Work document, and what I was saying is that this particular document tells the potential client what my rates are, what they can expect from me, my hours of operation, how I do business, how I communicate with my clients. so on and so forth. So most likely you will know all of this before you ever even look at an agreement with a VA to sign to work with them. This is something that people will let you know up front. It's very common for it to be for you to get this information prior to actually entering into a working relationship. And next, is there a minimum or maximum commitment for time, or can it be flexible? This is one of those it depends answers. Some VAs will be willing to work by the hour and never charge you up front and just say, hey, this is the project we're going to do, or we're going to begin working together. And at the end of the week or the month, I'm going to tally up the X number of hours and send you a bill, and they will invoice you and you can pay by the hour. Others are going to say, this is a project we're going to agree upon, and they will say, this project should take me X amount of time. I would like for you to sign an agreement, and I will charge you 50% up front from this project and 50% when this project is done. I often do that when I'm doing a WordPress website, for example. And then finally, some are going to require a retainer. When I say that they require a retainer, that means they require an ongoing commitment for a specific amount of hours per month. This is what I do with my clients. Clients can choose packages of 5, 10, or 20 hours a month. They pay for those packages up front, and then they use those hours up between 30 and 60 days. If their time expires before they've used all their hours up, as long as they renew their package, they can sort of roll over those hours into the next month or next 30 to 60 days. But if they choose not to renew their package, they forfeit any unused hours that are on their package. This is the way that I just choose to do my business, and it has worked well for me. I have done other things in the past that didn't work so well. But each VA will be different. Some don't mind working on a by project basis and working with you for one project and never working with you again. Some are going to want ongoing work. It's just going to truly depend on the person. So you will have to do your research when it comes to that. The next question we have is, what is a scope? A scope is often, I don't know where that picture went, but a scope is often a word that is used when people are asking you what you're looking for. And a scope is simply, what are you looking to hire a VA to do? Do you need social media management? Do you need a website built? Do you need some graphics? What are you looking for us to do for you? Now, I'm going to, I think it might be because I got logged out of Canva there for a minute. So I'm going to refresh so I can fix this, and I'll just edit this out of my recording because I really want this to look better than it does now. Okay, so let me get back to the screen that I was on. So we talked about scope, and now we're going to talk about some tips for hiring a virtual assistant. So when you are choosing or looking into hiring a VA, some things you want to think about are, you want to know what you need before you ever talk to a potential VA. So either have a job description, written up that you know these are the things I need someone to do, and be very specific about it, or you can simply have a list of tasks. I need for them to help me create some graphics each week for my social media. I need for them to schedule some appointments for me. I need for them to manage my email, or whatever the case may be. Create that checkoff list of items that they need to do. And so they can give you a good idea of, one, can they do those things, or do they specialize in those particular tasks and skills? Number two, are they available for that much time? You know, they can tell you about how much time that will take and if they have that much available in their schedule, so on and so forth. Second, know what your budget is. Can you afford to spend $250 a month on a VA, or are you not going to be able to spend as much? Know what your budget is. Don't go in there without any idea about how much you want to spend. Tip number 3, know the type of person you want to work with. I often ask, I do this matchmaking service, and when I do that, I often ask the client, what kind of VA are you looking for? And when I say that, I don't mean a social media person or a general VA. I ask them, what kind of characteristics do you want that person to have? Do you need them to be the type of person who has attention to detail? Do you need them to be open-minded? Do you need them to be not afraid of if someone is very direct? I had someone say that to me this week. She said, I'm looking for a virtual assistant who doesn't mind my directness, me telling them, exactly what I'm thinking. So those types of things. And then be willing to be open-minded and share your information. Many times VAs can bring lots of great things to the table. They might have their own suggestions that they could give to you that would help to improve your business or improve the project that you're working on. So be willing to listen to what they have to say. They can oftentimes bring a fresh perspective to your business, and be willing to share that information. Don't be afraid of that. And if you are afraid of sharing your information, use a program like LastPass that I shared with you where they won't actually see your passwords, and you can always revoke access at any time. So that's not a problem. If something comes up and you find that you cannot trust that person, you can change your password, revoke access, and you won't have any issues there. So those are some things to consider when you are thinking about hiring a VA. And then questions to ask yourself before you hire a virtual assistant. Question number one is, are you willing to let go? Some people, they think they want a VA and they think that they can outsource to someone and be fine with it, but then they learn, ooh, I really want to have control over this piece of my business. Giving this to someone wasn't a good idea. What do I not enjoy doing, even if I can do it? Man, I can work Canva, I can make graphics, but it's just monotonous to me, or I get bogged down in perfection. So those are reasons why, you could do it, but would your time be better spent elsewhere in your area of brilliance and expertise? How much is my time worth? Think about how much money you are making for your time. And if you are making $50 an hour and you're gonna pay a VA $25 an hour, you come out on top in that equation. So think about what your time is worth versus what you're going to be paying somebody, and that can help you to see where there's a benefit there. What is my communication style? One of the things that I ask potential clients is, would you like for your virtual assistant to email you most often, Voxer you most often, send you a Slack message most often, hop on the phone with you most often, or do a Zoom call with you most often? What is the way you would prefer to communicate, to see if there's a VA that's on the same page communication-wise? Because this can vary a lot among people, what their preferred style of communication is. And then how often do I wish to communicate with my VA? Do you require a weekly check-in, monthly check-in? Are you going to require them to respond to you every single day? What is your expectation? I find if you come to the table with clear expectations and you share that with your virtual assistant and you're open with your communication, this will set you up for success in a virtual assistant relationship.